So we are going to talk about following directions today, okay? So sometimes following directions is obviously so important when we're talking about making good choices in our behavior, but following directions is also important for our mind, okay? It tells us if we're really hearing what's being asked and if we can follow through with that skill. So this is just a simple way, and I wanted to show you how this is done. And this can be made at home, okay? So it might not be as pretty with all these kitties and stuff, but y'all could easily make this at home with something else or with a different picture, okay? So what it is this shows us a picture, and at the bottom it has some directions for us to follow. So whoever's helping you would read these directions and you would have to do what it said. So it says, cross out the sandwich on the blanket. So do you see a sandwich on the blanket? Yep, right here. So what we would do is we would take a marker and we would X that out because it said cross out the sandwich. Then it says circle the juice box that has a star on it. Do you see the juice box with a star on it? Yep, this one right here, right? So it said circle it, so we would circle that one. It says count the cookies on the tray and tell how many. So we would count these cookies. Can you help me count them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we would have to tell whoever's helping, say 6. It says cross out 3 cookies. So we would have to cross 3 cookies out. So we would go 1, 2, 3. Then it says circle the ant that is on the blanket. Do you see an ant that's on the blanket? I see 3 ants, but there's one of them on the blanket, so we would cross that ant out. So that is what these pages are, and there's just a bunch of different ones that tells you to do different things. So they're just different pictures. But parents or whoever's helping, these are so easy to make at home. You could just do it with simple shapes on a picture. You could have a bunch of hearts and triangles and squares and circles on a picture, and you could say, cross out the blue heart, and then count the triangles, and then you could say, circle the purple square. So all it's really getting into is just that the kid is listening and that they're able to follow through with what you're saying. And what this has to do with is basic comprehension skills, which are so important from here on out, as we know. So this just tells us that whenever we give them a task to do that's making them think about what you're asking, they would be able to listen and follow through with that skill. And that lets us know that they're able to comprehend what you're asking them in more of a cognitive way, okay? So that's super important. If they're able to do simple tasks like these, then you know that they're ready to kind of comprehend more of stories or more directions. So what I would say is if they can do these one by one, so if you made your own sheet and you just gave them simple directions one by one, then you can move it up to telling them 2 directions at one time. So you could say cross out the red heart and circle the blue square, and see if they can do both of them. Because in a little kid's brain, that's a lot to take in and follow through with. So just make the directions harder and harder and see what they can do. If you don't want to do it paper-wise, you can just give them verbal directions. Verbal directions are a little harder because they don't have a way to visually see what you're asking, but it's still an easy way to do this. So you could say something simple like, stand up, go touch the door, and sit down. So just something like that. Or stand up, turn around, touch your nose. Something simple that they're just having to take what you're saying, replay it in their head, and follow through with those directions. Those are so important. Sometimes those skills seem silly to us, but for these kids, it's such a big deal that they're really able to comprehend what we're saying to them, which is receptive language. That's what this is. So if you have any questions, let me know. But this is something so important for all kids. So try to do this the best you can. Like I said, even if it's just something outside when y'all are playing, you could say, run to the tree, touch your nose, and sit down. I mean, it just anything to get them to really being listening, number one. So this has to do with those social emotional behaviors too, and then also following through with directions. Okay. So I hope y'all are doing good. Just let me know if you have any questions. Bye.